And what they have learned is that these employees are on loan from Tesla and other of Musk's companies. They say that 50 plus Tesla employees have been authorized to work at Twitter, along with 2 Boring Company employees and also 1 from Neuralink.
In this video, we have a tsunami of new developments in Elon Musk's Twitter transformation. Musk is working with an extreme sense of urgency and has already fired warning shots at everyone from TikTok and YouTube to PayPal and Square and even Patreon. Did somebody say Patreon? What a perfect opportunity to plug. Ready? Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how many exclusive videos I've posted on Patreon in the last 25 hours alone. I told you guys, I'm taking this motherfucker over, and yes, once again, I really do want to urge everybody who's on the fence, maybe umming and ahhing about joining Patreon, probably going to want to make that decision sooner rather than later. It'll all make sense soon, I promise. And by the way, massive thank you to everybody who's currently supporting the channel on Patreon. The community's grown to over 5,000 members and counting rapidly. Kind of makes you wonder, if all these people are signing up and staying signed up, there must be something of value over there. Nah, nothing there. Don't worry. Don't sign up to Patreon. I don't need your money and you don't need the content. Let's move on. So, Elon Musk posted a poll. Bring back Vine? Now, for those who don't know, Vine, well, it was a thing, lasts about as long as you do in bed, very short form video, launched a lot of careers of social media influencers who are now making enormous amounts of money getting punched in the head by 47-year-olds. Not hating, by the way. Great business move if you're okay with the brain damage. The reason this is important is because Elon is very serious about making Twitter the everything app. And one narrow aspect of this is the everything content app for content creation and discovery. And short form video is an enormous market that at this point in time, Twitter is absolutely not participating in. Shout out to TikTok. Now, for those of you that don't know what TikTok is, not that many of you, it's basically crack and or meth from the Chinese Communist Party as a great way of gathering data. It's a great short form video app that I've never personally used because of the data privacy concerns, which, by the way, I'll add, is to the great detriment of growing this channel. Can you imagine how many people I could drive to the YouTube channel by having somebody cut up and make short form content from my YouTube videos and my Patreon content specifically on TikTok? I mean, it's a huge opportunity there, but I flat out fucking refuse. I'm not going near that app with a 420 quadrillion foot pole. Of course, I am in the minority. Most people don't give a flying fuck, but I do. The point here, TikTok is huge. One of the most popular apps on planet Earth, often the #1 downloaded app. So Elon Musk does this poll. Basically, if I translate the poll, should I put TikTok out of business? 0.9% of respondents saying yes. And some guy called Mr. Beast, who I've definitely never heard of, replies, if you did that and actually competed with TikTok, that'd be hilarious. To which Elon responds, what could we do to make it better than TikTok? Some guy with 3 first names chimed in and said, Elon, you should give Mr. Beast a call and discuss. Dude knows more about content, including retention, than any other human on the planet. The results speak for themselves. The guy also, low-key, has a gigantic brain. This is not widely understood, and this is super true, by the way. Jimmy from Mr. Beast is actually a literal genius. Like, if he did IQ tests, he'd come out like 99th percentile or higher. The guy has a huge brain. I think he's also probably an autist, although that's unconfirmed, and that's also irrelevant, but I'd just like to point that out because we've got an autist responding to an autist, responding to an autist. But TikTok should absolutely be quaking in their boots. Just imagine if Elon can do this and pull this off. And the Twitter app has a subsection of short form crack-like video content that people just cannot stop watching. Content that either entertains and or informs. I am desperately hoping that Elon can pull this off because, like I said, I will not touch TikTok. No fucking chance. If short form video comes to Twitter, I think I might be hiring. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to be chopping up my YouTube and or Patreon videos for short form content on Twitter's new TikTok competitor. And now moving on to an epic tweet thread from Musk that has a lot of panties in the twist. Panties, of course, exclusively twisted, belonging to those who currently believe themselves to be above us peasants. I'll explain. Quote, Twitter's current lords and peasants system for who has or doesn't have a blue checkmark is bullshit. Power to the people. Blue for $8 a month. So Elon is flagging this, proposing this. There's been polls about how much people would pay. It seems like it's pretty close to settling on $8 a month. Now I know lots of people are going to have lots of comments and opinions about this. Feel free to share them in the comments below, but just be warned, I'm probably going to debunk and or troll some of the expected responses from people. So if you can handle it, leave your comment now. Otherwise you can wait a little bit later in the video. Price will be adjusted by country proportionate to purchasing power parity. And this is very important if you don't understand the jargon here. Somebody in a rural village in India will not be paying $8 per month. They'll probably be paying 8 cents per month. YouTube does the same thing with their YouTube Premium membership. For those that don't know, YouTube Premium, no more ads. It's stunning to me that people will spend time complaining in the comments, there's too many ads in your video, bro, too many ads. It's like, just get YouTube Premium. And if you can't get YouTube Premium, I would probably suggest spending less time complaining in the comments about the ads and more time increasing your value so you can afford a few dollars a month. This is important. People aren't going to be priced out because there'll be initial reactions. Oh my God, $8, people can't afford that. This is in proportion. So it's basically going to be the exact same price in real terms in purchasing power for everyone on Earth. You will also get priority in replies, mentions, and search, which is essential to defeat spam and scam. Now, this is very important, and it's not a perfect solution, but it is a useful idea. Twitter already does this to a degree, but I think generally it's prioritizing accounts with larger followings. Ability to post long video and audio, half as many ads, and paywall bypass for publishers willing to work with us. This will also give Twitter a revenue stream to reward content creators. Exactly. There will be a secondary tag below the name for someone who is a public figure, which is already the case for politicians. I'm sure you guys have seen this. You'll see a check mark underneath. US member of Congress, etc. So you know, oh, that's actually that person. Now, a lot of panties are twisting as a result of this tweet thread. Elon Musk has a great ability to either cause panties to twist or drop. Anyway, moving on. Gally responding here, creator payment is huge to incentivize content creation. Love this idea. Elon Musk responding, absolutely essential. Creators need to make a living. Hashtag join Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. But no, seriously, this is actually really huge. If there isn't an incentive for creators to create content, compelling content, engaging content, interesting and entertaining content, informative content on Twitter, they're not going to do it. At least many won't. But if Twitter, the new team, can figure out ways to monetize content effectively, this incentivizes creators to create because they'll get paid and everyone wins, especially users of the website who have more and higher quality content to consume. An example of a single person whose panties are seriously in a twist. Now, I've been led to believe that Stephen King here has written a few books and also written a tweet back in around 2016 claiming he was going to leave the United States because Orange Man Bad had just been elected. And what are we now, 2022? So 6 years later, I believe, he's still located in the United States and wasn't a man of his word and really just wanted to signal virtue. Oh, Orange Man Bad. I hate Orange Man Bad. Please like me. Please approve of me. I'm Stephen King. So we have this tweet from Stephen Panty Twisted King. $20 a month to keep my blue check? Fuck that. They should pay me. I mean, holy shit, dude. If that gets instituted, I'm gone like Enron. Elon responding with some logic. We need to pay the bills somehow. Twitter cannot rely entirely on advertisers. How about $8? And by the way, the point about Twitter not being able to rely on advertisers is super important. As I mentioned in the past, advertisers currently have Twitter by the fucking balls. This is a very dangerous position for any publicly traded or private company to be in. If your primary or sole source of revenue is advertising dollars, and for some reason, some of those big advertisers decide to start leaning on you, hey, delete this, change this, don't do this, don't blah, blah, blah. In many cases, they'll have influence over you because if they say buy, you go bankrupt. Being entirely dependent on your existence on a single source of income, dangerous as fuck. And yes, that also includes the current people who are someone else's bitch, aka employees. You might want to start working on your side hustle A, B, C, and D. Elon Musk responding again. I will explain the rationale in longer form before this is implemented. It is the only way to defeat the bots and trolls, and this is a fair point. At this point, the marginal cost of creating new accounts, spam accounts, trolls, scam accounts, etc. on Twitter is effectively zero. This means that people can create an army of hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of scam bots, spam bots, etc. and let them loose on the website, creating an atrocious experience for all users. Not going to be so easy if your army of 1,000 or 10,000 Twitter bots is going to cost you $8,000 or $80,000 per month to maintain. If you guys want some lighthearted entertainment, do a search on Twitter for Checkmark and Elon Musk. Some of the latest and top posts, it's absolutely hilarious. A bunch of people, most of them with a blue checkmark at this point in time, trying to explain reasons why it's not fair or it's unreasonable or it doesn't make sense to allow other people to have themselves identified as an actual real human being. Many people trying to frame this as a cash grab. Oh, is this greedy? Oh, it's unfair to make people pay. It's optional. I'm not sure if people are understanding. It's optional. You can choose, if you have the resources and wish to have your account verified, and that will in the future allow others to filter posts and tweets by people who have been verified and or not. It's a great way to get rid of a lot of the trolls and scammers. And it's not a perfect solution, but has anybody got a better idea? It's amazing right now. All of the kings and queens with their blue check marks on Twitter trying to explain why they shouldn't allow the masses to get verified. It's almost as if they're desperate to cling on to their status symbol. I want to explain why this makes a huge amount of sense at a very fundamental level. At this point in time, Twitter is overrun by scammers, impersonators, self-hating basement-dwelling adult virgin trolls whose sole mission is to attack and spit venom at others. These are some of the biggest problems: the bots, the scammers, trolls. The easiest way to begin tackling this problem is to make it financially impossible to harbour an army of troll bots, troll accounts, and so on, to make it uneconomical for the scam bot armies to continue to operate, and in addition, to give users an improved experience by allowing them to filter content on the Twitter website, show only posts and or tweets and or tags from accounts that have been verified as a real human being. And again, I want to emphasize the point. This is not the same as forcing people to use their actual real name on the public facing website. This is a mechanism for Twitter to show visually to people and to allow filtering of accounts only that are genuine human beings. 99% of the trolls I see on my own tweets are brand new accounts, no profile picture, just somebody who hates me almost as much as they hate themselves, frothing over every new tweet I make because there's another opportunity to call me a fraud or a liar or a dumbass or a dipshit or whatever, pick your thing. Giving users the option to not only verify themselves as a legitimate human, but to filter content, dial it. Okay, I want to see everything from anyone. I don't care whether account's 1 minute old, doesn't have a profile picture, hasn't made any tweets and isn't verified, all the way up to I'd only like to see tweets from people who have verified themselves as humans, or at least to prioritize them. This is a brilliant solution to what is now currently a dumpster fire of a website with very poor user experience. It's so simple. And again, it isn't the perfect solution, but does anyone have a better idea? Probably not. Let me try to give you guys an analogy that hopefully even a potato could understand. Let's go back to the example of YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium is an optional pay-per-month feature on YouTube to allow users to have a better user experience. It's not mandatory, but by paying for YouTube Premium, you'll no longer see any annoying ads. Let's make the analogy for Twitter. Pay $8 a month and you'll no longer see the annoying bots, scammers, and trolls, at least very few of them. Pretty simple, right? Makes sense, right? Great revenue stream, right? Logical, right? Good solution, right? When it comes to the idea of being able to pay a monthly fee on Twitter to become a verified user so others can filter by verified users, and also you'll see less crap from trolls, spam accounts, and so on, it's a great idea. It seems to me it's pretty easy to categorize the two main camps that vehemently oppose the idea of allowing users the option of paying for a premium Twitter experience to get themselves verified as a real human and to help the company become less reliant on advertisers. One, it's a deeply insecure, egotistical wankers who today have a check mark and see themselves as superior to everybody else because of their status symbol, who want to remain unique. They're now afraid, oh shit, if everyone gets a blue check mark, then how can I prove that I'm better than people and have the status symbol? I can't afford a Bugatti, I can't get laid, so there's no chance of any arm candy unless I'm paying her. I have no accomplishments in my life, no meaningful accomplishments, never been good at anything. How on earth can I signal to people that I'm better than them? This is not fair. Now, there's another group of people on the lower end of the economic ladder who either can't afford or are unwilling to pay a few dollars a month to improve their experience on a website. And this group of people subdivides into two groups. You've got the people who go, well, I can't afford it, whatever, it is what it is. Just like I can't afford to eat well and I end up eating garbage. These people are used to compromising on their health, their education, their relationships, their housing, whatever it is, because they can't always afford everything. There's a second group of people, however, who, when faced with the choice of paying money for an improved product or service or experience, feel like they're looking at a mirror that's reflecting back to them the fact that they're a broke-ass motherfucker, and they feel really bad about that. So their immediate reaction is to be angry and ashamed and attack the very idea that makes them realize that they literally can't afford a spare $8 a month. This can motivate some people, those with healthy self-esteem. Oh, that, I'll just earn a bit more money, no problem. It's not that hard. Read some books, learn how to add value, next minute I can afford $8 a month. But then there's another group of people who take it as a personal affront. How dare this person highlight the fact that I can't afford $8 a month? No, f*** you, bad idea, as if you do that, I'm quitting Twitter, etc. Now, I'm going to say something that's controversial and absolutely not in my best interest, but saying things just because they're in my best interest is not what I do. I say things because they're true and or they matter. I actually suspect and hope that Elon Musk will charge a disproportionately higher monthly fee to Twitter users with a large audience. That includes me. Is this fair? Yes, it is fair. There seems to be two categories of Twitter users. There's people who just use the site to consume a little bit of content, and there's people who use the site in their business, in their profession. Case in point, this guy. I have an audience of, 140,000 bots and a couple of actual real human beings there as well. I think it's entirely reasonable, given the value of the asset, my ability to broadcast to over 100,000 bots and a few actual real people, that I pay a premium to do so. I think that's completely fair and in proportion. If you've got a Twitter following of 10 million people and you're asked to pay $100 a month, I think that's pretty reasonable. After all, the value of that asset, the ability to broadcast instantly to that audience, is many times over that tiny amount. Now, it'd be great if everything in the world was free for everybody, but that's not how the world works.
We want to stick with Mr. Musk. He's reportedly tapping Tesla for Twitter talent. Yahoo Finance's Alexis Keenan is here with the details. And Alexis, all right, you're the CEO, the most highly paid, richest man in the world. You have this new company, Twitter. Why not borrow a couple of engineering execs from this great EV company and put them over here, see what happens, mix them all up?
Why
this
not?
Is all legal, right?
Why not? Very interdisciplinary, right?
Yes.
So this report is coming from CNBC. And what they have learned is that these employees are on loan from Tesla and other of Musk's companies. They say that 50 plus Tesla employees have been authorized to work at Twitter, along with 2 Boring Company employees and also 1 from Neuralink.
So basically what's happening here, given that Elon Musk employs many of the world's best and brightest, especially engineers, and I'm talking about the top 0.01%, the absolute elite of the elite, the special forces, makes a hell of a lot of sense to bring in some of your absolute A team to have a look at this clusterfuck of all clusterfucks, figure out how it's working today and how to make improvements. I've seen some absolutely hilarious tweets from people regarding this news.
Oh, what does anyone at Tesla have to do with as if they know anything about how to fact check and control the one true narrative? What are they doing here? This is despicable. Elon's dumb. He's going to lose all his money.
Also saying that the goal here is to really staff up quickly enough to learn very quickly to redesign eventually Twitter, that we've all been talking about that so much lately. What is he going to do what is Elon Musk going to do? How is he going to reinvent this company? So there's talk about these employees trying to understand the source code, what is required for content moderation. That's a big one, not only in the US, but globally, and also the requirements for data privacy. So there's also some mention, though, by CNBC saying that, well, Tesla uses different scripting language for its coding than Twitter does. So there might be a learning curve there for some of these folks who are on loan at this point. Now, let's just take a look at some of the more specific roles from Tesla. One of these employees is said to be a director of software development, another one director of software engineering, also director of autopilot engineering from Tesla. And also there are Musk associates that are on board to try to weigh in, brainstorm at this company new ideas. The head of Musk's family office, also angel investor Jason Calacanis, also former PayPal COO and now VC David Sachs. Also, there's a couple Musk's names in there. We don't know if they are relatives of Musk, one who had worked at Palantir and one who had worked at Neuralink. So also reporting that from Bloomberg coming that some of the Twitter employees, managers that were already there, were asked to make some significant cuts, especially to the product teams at Twitter, as much as 50%.
Well, it's really interesting that somebody from the autopilot team might be going over to Twitter. And, AI, you got to think that maybe some of the algos are fungible. But my big question is, when are we going to see SpaceX engineers and cosmonauts descend on Twitter? I'm kidding. Elon Musk made some changes to the Twitter Blue service. Now, not the blue checks, but the Blue service. I think this is a relatively new offering here. What are the changes? What are the details?
Right. So this is coming from the Wall Street Journal, and they're saying that Elon Musk has officially decided to end those free articles that the subscribers to Twitter Blue would receive with their $4.99 a month subscription. And they were basically given access to hundreds of publications, news articles along with that service, but that is officially going to end. Look, that service has only been in operation for approximately a year. So you can't expect that the company has so many subscribers there. They don't disclose their numbers in their SEC filings, but they did in that category year over year from 2021 to 2022 have a loss in that category, a revenue loss.
You got to expect that there are going to be a lot more changes ahead for Twitter.
Now that is an understatement. And now let's head over to Doomberg. Quote, Twitter limits content enforcement tools as US election looms. Musk's social network freezes some access to moderation tools. Workers cite concerns about misinformation ahead of Let me just rephrase this, okay? Workers, those who are desperate to control the one true narrative, those who are desperate to interfere in the democratic process to ensure that bad people don't get elected, are very concerned about losing their ability to interfere in election outcomes. This is juicy. Twitter, the social network being overhauled by new owner Elon Musk, has frozen some employees' access to internal tools used for content moderation and other policy enforcement, curbing the staff's ability to censor articles about the laptop that never existed just before the US presidential election, which definitely didn't influence the outcome of the... Did I misread that? I think I misread that. Let's try that again. Has frozen some employees' access to internal tools used for content moderation and other policy enforcement, curbing the staff's ability to interfere in election outcomes. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I read that right. Oh, great. Most people who work in Twitter's trust and safety... Oh, I shouldn't laugh. It's just funny. The Trust and Safety Organisation really is the interfering in the democratic process organisation, and occasionally caring about trust and safety, in my opinion. And of course, I'm just some idiot on YouTube who doesn't know anything, so disregard everything I said. Are currently unable to alter or penalise accounts that break rules around misleading information, offensive posts, and hate speech, except for the most high-impact violations that would involve real-world harm, according to people familiar with the matter. Those posts were prioritised for manual enforcement, they said. People who were on call to enforce Twitter's policies during Brazil's presidential election did get access to the internal tools on Sunday, but in a limited capacity, according to two of the people. The company is still utilising automated enforcement technology. By the way, I made a Patreon video about this bullshit recently. This is the automated enforcement technology that today can literally hide 150 replies on a tweet, every single one of them disappearing. Why? Good question. And third-party contractors, according to one person, though the highest profile violations are typically reviewed by Twitter employees. San Francisco-based Twitter declined to comment on new limits placed on its content moderation tools. Twitter staff use dashboards, known as interference tools, to carry out actions like censoring, banning, suppressing ideas they disagree with, and trying to influence the outcome of elections to ensure that bad people do not get elected. Who are the bad people? The people that aren't us. Sorry, I misread that, I think. Whatever, you guys can see on screen. Detection of policy breaches can either be flagged by other Twitter users or detected automatically, but taking action on them requires human input and access to the dashboard tools. Those tools have been suspended since last week, the people said. This restriction is part of a broader plan to extinguish the dumpster fire that is Twitter. I think I misread that too. To freeze Twitter's software code to keep employees from pushing changes to the app during the transition to new ownership. Typically, this level of access is given to a group of people numbering in the hundreds, and that was initially reduced to about 15 people last week, according to two other people who asked not to be named. The scaled-back content moderation, oh here we go, has raised concern among employees on Twitter's trust and safety team who believe that the company may no longer be able to interfere in election outcomes, censor speech they don't like, silence voices they don't like, cancel people they don't like, and shadow ban people called Stephen Mark Ryan for saying things that they don't like. So I think, man, I'm having a hard time with this today. Anyway, whatever, let's just keep it raw and real. Who believe the company will be short-handed in enforcing policies in the run-up to the US midterm. I mean, fucking hell, dude. Do you guys just not see that, like, the fact that there are employees within Twitter on their trust and safety, aka interference team, censorship team, who are concerned that they will no longer be able to as powerfully enforce policies in the run-up to the US midterm elections should tell you everything you need to know. Of course, some people can't join the dots, so I'll do that for you. This is a tacit admission by these concerned employees that they're worried they'll no longer be able to interfere in elections as much as they previously were able to. Why is it that putting a pause on all but the most serious content moderation, why is it that would be concerning? Unless, of course, you're a little bit concerned about losing your ability to control the one true narrative and suppress information you do not want people to see. I'm just kidding, that would never happen. Let's move on. Trust and safety employees are often tasked with enforcing Twitter's censorship. Trust and safety employees are often tasked with enforcing Twitter's misinformation and civic integrity policies. Many of the same policies that former Donald Trump routinely violated before and after the elections, the company said at the time. It's definitely a coincidence that the guy who kept violating these policies routinely before and after the 2020 elections was the guy that they didn't want to get into power. Total coincidence, I swear. Other employees said they were worried about Twitter's rolling back its data access for researchers and academics. The way I'm reading this is that Twitter allows large numbers of researchers and academics to access data from the website, and employees are worried about rolling this back? I just don't get it. And about how it would deal with foreign influence operations under Musk's leadership. On Friday and Saturday, Doomberg reported a surge in hate speech on Twitter that included a 1,700% spike in the use of a racist slur on the platform. By the way, There's more to discuss on this, which at its peak appeared 215 times every 5 minutes, according to data from Dataminer, an official Twitter partner that has access to the entire platform. The trust and safety team did not have access to enforce Twitter's moderation policies during this time, 2 people said. Yoel Roth, Twitter's head of safety and integrity, posted a series of tweets on Monday addressing the increase in offensive posts, saying that very few people see the content in question. Quote, "Since Saturday, we've been focused on addressing the surge in hateful conduct on Twitter. We've made measurable progress, removing more than 1,500 accounts and reducing impressions on this content to nearly zero. Quote, "We're primarily dealing with a focused short-term trolling campaign." Now, I feel like there's some extremely important missing context. Doomberg would never intentionally fail to include important context, would they? Let's look at the actual tweet thread referenced by Doomberg here. For some strange reason, they failed to mention a critically important piece of information here. This tweet from Yoel. Over the last 48 hours, we've seen a small number of accounts, which is not what the fake news was saying, post a ton of tweets that include slurs and other derogatory terms. To give you a sense of scale, more than 50,000 tweets repeatedly using a particular slur came from just 300 accounts. Of course, the fake news wants you to believe that many millions of people have come on Twitter and started saying every horrible thing on earth. But the truth is, this was a very targeted campaign from just 300 accounts. Weird that Bloomberg didn't mention that kind of important fact, isn't it? Musk tweeted last week that he hadn't made any changes to Twitter's content moderation policies. So far, though, he has also said publicly that he believes the company's rules are too restrictive and has called himself a free speech absolutist. Internally, employees say Musk has raised questions about a number of the policies and has zeroed in on a few specific rules that he wants the team to review. The first is Twitter's general misinformation policy, which penalizes posts that include things that may or may not be true that Twitter deems to be untrue for whatever reasons, whether or not that's because they're untrue or for other reasons is yet to be determined, about topics like election outcomes and the plague, and also observations about reality, like saying a blank is a blank, and apparently that's hateful. I can't even say the word because I get deleted from YouTube. That's how insane the f***ing world is today. Musk wants the policy to be more specific according to people familiar with the matter. Musk has also asked the team to review Twitter's hateful conduct policy, according to the people, specifically a section that says users can be penalized for, quote, targeted misgendering or dead naming of the f*** is dead naming? I'm sorry guys, I'm not really up with this lingo. This sounds like a joke. Now, I'm a little bit out of my depth here. I do not know what dead naming even is. I'm assuming targeted misgendering is intentionally calling a man who would prefer not to be called a man or something like that. I don't know. Out of my depth here again, I'm not really sure. But it's kind of strange to me that Twitter would have a hateful conduct policy, and within that hateful conduct policy would be describing reality. Even if somebody would prefer that you deny reality, seems a little bit extreme to me. And hey, don't get me wrong here, I'll call somebody whatever they want to be called. But if it comes down to let's talk facts, then I'll also talk the facts and then get cancelled. In both cases, it is unclear if Musk wants the policies to be rewritten or the restrictions removed entirely. Now, I too err on the side of being a free speech absolutist. I would prefer if people are allowed to write a tweet that says, Stephen, you're a dickhead, I hate you, you're wrong about everything, f*** you, I hope you die in a fire. I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. Okay? It doesn't really get my panties in a twist. I got a lot of haters and they're fine. I don't mind. I'll let them have their voice and that's totally cool with me. If somebody wants to call me something that they think will hurt me or is mean to me, I think they should be allowed to do that. After all, there is a mute button, there is a block button. I don't need to hear their opinions. If they say something mean that I don't like, rather than Twitter banning them for hate speech, I can just stop hearing from them by muting them. Crazy idea, right? But no. Twitter, the gods, the arbiters of truth, the one true narrative, despite having these features on their website, have their own team to decide who should be on the website and who shouldn't, and what is hate speech. And what is hate speech? Well, if you were to ask the Babylon Bee what hate speech were, I think the answer would be accurately describing a reality that some people would rather deny. And the fact that I've had to very delicately dance around this particular subject kind of makes my point. I do not want to live in a world where I or anyone else can get banned permanently from a platform, lose their ability to engage in conversation, discussion and debate in the town square, to share their thoughts, opinions and ideas, even if they're heinous opinions, even if their ideas are wrong, even if they believe things that are false. I do not want to live in a world where instead of engage, discuss and debate, the only solution is to immediately and permanently ban people from your platform for describing reality or asking a legitimate question. But hey, that's just me. It seems likely that in the full course of time, Twitter may become the platform to freely share one's thoughts, opinions and ideas without fear of being permanently banned for hate speech because you said something that was accurate and or true and or dumb and or wrong. Wouldn't it be better if we could just have conversations rather than silence people? In the meantime, I still continue to freely share my thoughts, opinions and ideas over on Patreon. We're now at 197 exclusive videos and counting, plus access to my Tesla price targets and loads of other perks. Like I said, 1, I'm taking over. 2, it's only a matter of time before you join. And 3, I'd probably stop procrastinating and you'll understand why pretty soon. So, see you over on Patreon. You can join with the card in the corner or the link at the pinned comment. Love ya.